Hi, and welcome to Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Jason Ortitay of the 46th District with Allegheny and Washington counties. Today, we're here to spotlight our local businesses. We're doing a segment on Weavertown Environmental Group. The purpose of these spotlights is to show the good things and the good businesses we have locally in our district, and to promote them and give them a chance to give us some feedback about what we're doing in Harrisburg. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Don Fuchs here at Weavertown Environmental Group. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of this.
Oh, absolutely, Representative Ortitay. Thank you so much for coming out to our great company, Weavertown Environmental Group.
Now, I've heard a lot of things about Weavertown. I drive by the Cecil site all the time, and I know I've mentioned this to you many times before. Today I get to take the tour, which I'm really excited to do. Can you tell me more about how the business got started?
Yes, absolutely. My father started his business when he was 40 years old in 1981 and started as a one-man band. He was a transporter of materials, liquids primarily, and then really developed into a lot of other things, environmental services being the key component of that. I joined him in 1989, and from there we continued to develop new service lines all the time in other states as well.
So this is a family business. What made you want to get into the family business?
Well, Black Friday happened in the stock market. I was a stockbroker, so it was a little challenging times to manage other people's money and other people's balance sheet, more importantly. What's nice about our own balance sheet is we can follow it and track it closely. And employee development is really what drives me. That's my passion. So I got an opportunity to actually help drive the business, mold the business into what it is today. So that's been fun for me.
Well, that's great. Well, let's talk about how many people were on board then as to how many employees you have today.
Well, that's a good question. We were well in the 30s at that time, and now we have 215 to be exact, and we hire every day.
How many different locations do you have?
We cover 5 states, and we have multiple sites in Ohio and Pennsylvania as our 2 biggest locations for multiple locations, and we have small office in West Virginia and Kentucky and Texas as well.
No, I know you said you're hiring every day, it seems like. Are you guys looking to expand and open additional facilities, offices in the near future?
Absolutely. Our platform wants to be a national business and international. I think if you're not global, you're really not going. So we really strive every day for our management team to step out of their comfort zone and think about how can we get larger. So we're looking at existing clients that we have and try to grow with them, and hopefully they bring Weavertown along to their other states and hopefully international at one point.
Well, let's move a little bit more towards economic impact. You guys have been here for a while. Do you guys use local suppliers? I know you get your local employees. We talked about this before.
We use local suppliers. We try to buy in USA where we can. Obviously, some parts and components are overseas, but we really try to help the local economy. And you don't think about the small restaurant that you're supporting or the gas station, but we buy all of our services locally if we can.
What's been the main driver in growth in your business?
I think the main driver is the growth in the last 6 years has been Marcellus Shale. I mean, the Marcellus in Utica has really been a blessing. It hit in the heartbeat of our locations. I mean, Cecil, Pennsylvania being one of them, which we'll tour later today. I mean, to think that our hubs are right where the Marcellus was first drilled, it's pretty exciting. We also acquired a site in Monaca. We're going to hopefully, if the Shell cracker does come one day, or if another cracker comes, we believe we'll be there to service them for emergency response as well, and tank cleaning and other service lines that we hope to bring to that area in Beaver County.
Now, you said about 6 years ago is when all the growth really ramped up. What was your primary focus before that, and compare it to how your economic climate was then to how it is today?
Well, we were in the steel industry, and in 2008 things really sort of slowed down, even as far back as 2001. Our goal was to not feel a difficult economy, so we prepared for the recession of 2008 in late 2006, early 2007. And now even with the Marcellus and some people slowing down and drilling, we're hoping that we can see that same insight. So we're trying now to look at our book of business, and emergency response is always there. Nobody knows when there's going to be a tractor trailer overturned or a plant fire. We're here for those emergencies as well. So those spikes, we see that actually up right now currently, which is not good necessarily, but what is good is there's companies like ourselves that are here to maintain the environment and keep it clean for our families.
And that's an important part. A lot of people see the energy industry as they don't care about the environment, and I don't think that could be further from the truth.
I think everybody cares about the environment. I mean, nobody really wants to pollute it, and even consumers and manufacturers, regulations keep them in check. And I think Pennsylvania DEP does an excellent job at writing regulations that industry should comply with and not making it so onerous that they leave.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. We're always in Harrisburg, we're always talking about new rules, new regulations. The governor has proposed a severance tax, 5% plus a rider on top of that. I don't know if that's contributing to the fact that the operations are slowing down in Pennsylvania or not. I guess we'll find out over the next couple months. But talk to me about your feelings on the severance tax and how you think it will affect the industry.
Well, I think that they're already getting some fees with the impact fee. And I think then to go ahead and put the severance on top of that, one could call it, paying twice. If it does impact the industries and the drilling, I think it's really going to have a negative impact on Pennsylvania because so many industries like our own have really ramped up. We have 70 additional hires because of the oil and gas. I think you'll see a downturn in the economy locally. So I think that it's at risk. I'm not saying it's going away. I mean, that's naive. I mean, you hear oil and gas people all the time say, we're not going to leave the area, but we will change how much drilling activity we do.
And that's one of the things that I've noticed, I've been paying attention to. I think last year in the state, we had about 110 plus rigs, and this year, right around now, we're in the 50s. So we've seen it cut in half. And a lot of that has to do with market conditions, with the prices of natural gas, because everybody thinks that we're getting $2 or $3. And I talked to a few people, and they're telling me we're getting anywhere from 60 cents to 95 cents, and it's just not what it used to be. And I don't know if you're seeing any of that effect as well on your side.
I've heard the same thing. I've heard that the severance fee, if it is imposed, could be higher than what they're getting in the way of a collectible, receivable. I mean, the math doesn't work. So I think we need to go back and figure out what is the actual math, not what we believe the math is or what oil and gas is saying their cubic feet costs are. How is the math working? I'm not sure. That's not my area of expertise.
Yeah, well.
But what is my area of expertise is employment and making sure we have good jobs for American families.
Right, and one of the things that I'll applaud the governor on is he proposed to cut the corporate net income tax rate pretty much in half with his budget, and I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
I think that's great. I think C corporations for too many years have been paying a lot of tax, absorbent amount. And because of that, we converted our C corporation to an S corp going on 5 years ago. So our net effect's not going to be felt there, but C corporations have at it. I think they needed a reduction a long time ago.
Well, I agree with you. One of the other things I want to talk to you about, you mentioned before you're hiring like crazy, or it seems like you're hiring every day. What sort of qualifications and I guess educational backgrounds are you looking for from an experience standpoint and so on?
The nice thing about Weavertown is we can take that college graduate, I mean, in some cases even a high school dropout, and then we go ahead and we train them the Weavertown way. It gives them an opportunity to make a nice living. Our guys can make up to $70,000, $75,000 a year. Now, granted, they're working a lot of hours for that kind of an income, but I'm proud to say that they don't have to have the college degree here. So when they come into Weavertown, if they just basically have a good work ethic, that's something that's becoming much more harder to find. People that really don't care from daylight to nighttime if they're working. So we can take that uneducated person to an educated person. We hire out of the colleges, the universities. We work with recruitment agencies to get the best talent. The big thing is key talent, good people that want to give an honest day's work. We give them an honest day's wage.
And how do you guys find qualified candidates? Because I know that's been a hot topic out during the campaign. A lot of people tell me they can't find jobs, nobody's hiring. Obviously you guys are hiring. How do you get the word out and how do you find people?
We do a lot of our own job fairs. So our job fairs will create our own interest. We really push our employees to do referrals. We believe that if they refer somebody here, then they must be good or else they won't put their name on them. We have employee incentives. We give a bonus to our employees for actual recruiting of a CDL commercial driver. Those are hard jobs to find today. People typically want to get home at night. That's something that Weavertown can't guarantee. So we just promote within and work the truck stops. We do anything we have to find the best talent. So we go to truck stops on Sundays, not Mondays.
Well, a lot of people always say the energy industry from what it was 10 or 15 years ago, entry-level jobs coming out of high school or even college, $30,000 to $40,000 a year, and now we're talking $60,000 to $75,000, $80,000 a year. The industry's really raised that up, even since I've been out of high school, which hasn't been that long. It's really been an improvement, and one of the things that we've been focusing on is to make sure that there are family-sustaining jobs in the area. And you guys obviously do that. What kind of benefits do you guys provide?
We offer medical benefit, eye, dental, long-term, short-term disability, 401k. You know, we're real proud to say the last several years we actually contribute to our 401k. We don't do a full employee match, but we do the 2.5%, which for a small family business,
Yeah.
hey, that's free money. The hard thing is getting employees convinced that it's pre-tax. And so education-wise, we spend a lot of time educating our employees on how to save for their future and not just to blow their money. You know, you got to save for your long-term retirement. You know, those pension plans aren't there. I know we don't have one here.
Okay, yeah, that's another hot topic in Harrisburg as well. Can you talk to me about some of the rules and regulations that you deal with on a daily basis, and if there's anything in Harrisburg that you'd like to see changed that we can work on this session?
What's nice about the rules, they're here to keep everybody in line. Weavertown takes no shortcuts, so we get notification for a DEP inspection. OSHA, we have to comply with their rules and regs. The Coast Guard, we went through an extensive audit in one of our river facilities. So we have regulations just like big industry does. You just have to comply with them. They're here for your guideline, and you can't take a shortcut if you want to be a good operator. And we're proud to say 34 years in business. We have very, very minimal NOVs and insurance, and we've never been canceled. You know, we're able to make our bank obligations because we're a good operator. And to me, that's what the heartbeat of America is all about.
That's what I like to hear, especially from family businesses. It's always great to see them growing, hear about the success stories. One of the things before we go take the tour at the Cecil facility, is there anything else you'd like to add? Kind of tell us what we're going expected to see when we get there, and anything you'd like to tell us more about Weavertown.
Yeah, sure. What you're going to see is our heartbeat. I mean, when Donald founded the business, my father, it was nothing more than a 2-bay garage on a hillside. I think what's so impressive is the landscape there and what we've been able to develop out of a hill. I think some people look at a hillside and say, that's nothing more than a hill and you can't do anything with it. Well, you actually can, and Cecil's going to be a testament to that. The other thing you're going to see is the Mark West rail train coming through. You know, before oil and gas, we didn't have a rail going through our site. And I have to say, at first, maybe we thought that could be a negative on our business. But I said, we're in the industry. We have to support it. We have to let this train come through. There was no way to stop it. I mean, it's growth, development. So that's something we had to adjust to. You know, sometimes businesses have to be nimble. I think Weavertown's so nimble, and you'll see that there. We have the rails to trails there. So what's interesting about the location is you have industry coming together with private sector bikes and the train. It's just awesome. So maybe when you get out there, the train will be choo-chooing through and you'll hear the whistle. And the whistle, you know, we thought maybe it'd be hard for our guys to hear each other. You know, you got to find better ways to communicate. You'll see trucks, you're going to see traffic, you're going to see diesel fuels, tanks. It's just a lot more there to see than our corporate headquarters.
Yeah, I'm always excited. Every time I drive by it, it seems like there's something new going on there, and I'm really excited to see the big truck you guys have. So
the famous rotator, you'll
Yep.
see it. It's called Bumblebee, and we love it. And if anybody has work for it, the one thing I would say on here is call us up for crane services. We have a crane that could come your way.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us. What we're going to do is we're going to head over to Cecil now and take a tour, but I appreciate your time and your willingness to participate in this.
Thank you so much. And Daryl Heiser will be meeting you at Cecil. He's our Vice President of Operations and Vice President of the corporation. So he'll be very more apt to explain everything that goes on over there, because those are his guys and his operations. So enjoy Daryl. And thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you today. So.
We'll be right back after this short message with a tour of the Weavertown Environmental Group facility over in Cecil.
Did you know that Act 16 of 1999 honors one of the greatest leaders in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives? The Matthew J. Ryan Legislative Office Building, once known as the Capitol Annex, is located next to the main Capitol building and honors the late Speaker of the House, Matthew J. Ryan. Those who visit this building will observe the magnificent architectural designs providing eloquence and grandeur to the building. Known as one of the greatest members in the history of the Pennsylvania State House, Matthew Ryan started his career in the legislature in 1963 and was elected Speaker in 1981. His charisma and knowledge will forever be reflected in the building now named after this great legislative leader. Now you know.
Welcome back. As you can see, we have a change of scenery here. We've moved to the Cecil plant at Weavertown Environmental Group. We're joined by Daryl. I want to thank Dawn for joining us before, but Daryl's here with us now, and we appreciate you being here. We're at what seems like a big pit. We've got a couple liners and a bulldozer and a bunch of trucks surrounding us under this building here. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do at this location here?
Yeah, welcome to Weavertown Transfer Facility. This is a licensed PADEP transfer station. And at this facility here, we bring in non-haz waste streams in our vac trucks, and we back it up to the pit. It's in sludge form, and we dump it in the pit, and we mix either cement dust, kiln dust, some solidification material to it to make a solid waste.
And where does the waste come from when it's trucked in here? Typically, what type of industries are you working with?
Weavertown works with all industries, from oil and gas, utilities, refineries, anything that generates any type of waste. Weavertown works for, from tank cleaning, industrial services, emergency response, transportation, and waste disposal.
How long does it take for this process, for the solidification process to actually take place before you guys can pick it up and move it?
It's pretty instant. You know, we add kiln dust to it. It'll tighten up pretty quick. We have to use an excavator to move it around from one container to another container, but we're agitating it, and we have to get it into a solid form prior to it going to the landfill for final disposal.
And that's why you guys use the liners over here, just to make sure everything stays contained. You're mixing it up, I believe, with this backhoe or this piece of equipment over here to help mix all the chemicals in that you were talking, or not the chemicals, but like the dust.
Solidification material, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So that type of process usually, is it a day? Is it a couple days?
No, like I said, you know, we bring in about 3,000 gallons at a time. We dump it into the pit, and we add 4 or 5 tons of material to it. It tightens. It's a solid waste, and from there we scoop it out, put it into another lined roll-off container, and it goes into the roll-off box, and then from there it's staged here. There's a lot of analysis that has to go into it, and Pennsylvania's rules and regulations prior to going to a landfill. Once we get that approved through the state, it'll be transported to a local landfill.
Well, that's great. Now, do you guys transport it to the landfill? Or
yes.
Do you guys? Okay.
Yeah, we do all that.
All right, perfect. Well, that looks great around here. Where else do we want to go next?
We'll go down to our lab. We'll show you the lab. So we do a quick fingerprint of the material coming in. Every load that comes in gets sampled, and I'll show you a little bit about that.
All right, perfect.
Thanks.
We're here in the lab with Michelle. And Michelle, tell us about what goes on here in the lab, because I see a bunch of equipment, and other than playing mad scientist when I was a kid, I have no idea what this stuff does.
Well, what we do here is we have customers that want to get rid of non-haz material, and they call us and they talk to us, and we explain all the PA limits that we're allowed here on the facility. And then we ask them for a waste profile, which basically tells us exactly what the material is, how it came about, and the constituents and the product MSDS, or as we want to say, non-haz characteristics. Once we get that waste profile, we allow them to come onto the facility, and when they pull up, we take a sample out of the liquid or the solid. We'll send out for analytical if it's a solid. If it's a liquid, we bring it in here to the lab, and we do what we call a fingerprint. We are a licensed, certified lab to do fingerprinting on pH, flashpoint, halogen, and we also do paint filters.
Now, if you can just, we don't need to walk through each piece of equipment, but kind of tell me what that does over there, what that does.
We actually only use the metal machine that you see there is a flashpoint.
Okay.
We're only allowed to accept any material that flashes, and that would mean explode, be flammable, above 140 degrees.
Okay, so if you get something like that, you're telling your customer you need to go take it somewhere else.
Correct.
All right.
Correct. But usually, like I said, we get a waste profile in, and we know before that material is coming. We pretty much understand what's coming through the door.
Okay. Now, do you have other lab techs or anybody else that runs these tests?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. I have a helper during the day. He's very good here.
Okay.
Yes.
So the training that goes into this can be fairly intense.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. We have Weavertown brought in an environmental scientist, and they're actually a little bit more experienced than the normal person. So he has all the experience he's needed with all of this. But as I said, a lot of our material is actually sent out to accredited PA landfill labs, so that we can actually take it and dispose of it into a landfill.
Now, do you guys do testing when you're done treating the non-hazardous waste? Do you test it
Yes.
before it goes back out?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Yes,
and then,
we do. And most of that, like I said, is sent out, but a lot of it with the liquid and stuff can be done here.
Okay.
Before we take our oil and water for recycle, we'll test it before it even leaves our facility.
Okay, so you have everything there.
Oh, yes, we're very safe here.
Well, thank you for walking me through the lab.
No problem. Come anytime.
I appreciate it, and we're going to go join Daryl back out in the yard. All right, well, so we're here out in the yard. We just left the lab. From the road, you can always see a ton of these trucks. From the driving up here, we saw a bunch of them too. Can you tell me a little bit more about this truck and possibly some of the other trucks you have?
Yeah, this is one of the trucks that we use for industrial service tank cleaning, and it's designed to pull heavy sludges and material. It gets loaded into the tank, and from once the job's completed and the truck's full, we transport that material to the solidification pit where we just showed you before. One of these particular trucks, it's very costly to operate. You do need to have a CDL license to operate the unit. And I know one of your questions before is, what is the cost of one of these units? And they're around $350,000 per unit.
Tell me a little bit about your garage services.
Yeah, our garage services, they work on our equipment, plus we have other clients that they work on. And it's the same model that we have at the environmental. It's 24/7, 365. So they're always open and ready to go for any type of situation that when a truck breaks down to get fixed.
Now, is it the same types of trucks as like this, or is it just a wide variety of trucks?
We have a wide variety of trucks, from vac trucks, roll-off trucks, tanker trucks, heavy yellow equipment. So anything, diesel and it's big that goes up and down the road that the garage could work on.
Now, I notice you guys have racks down at the bottom of the hill. Can any truck pull up there and fuel up, or is it just you guys?
Yeah, again, Weavertown buys their fuel there, but we also sell it to the public, and it's open 24/7. And a good thing, during the summer months, we sell propane there. So if you run out of propane, come get some propane from us.
You can fix up your grill, do a little barbecue, and that's good. I always saw it, but I never realized if anybody could just stop on by and fuel up. Do you guys have any CNG powered vehicles?
Yeah, we have a couple small pickups that are CNG powered.
How long have you had those?
We've had them for about 3 years.
And what was the motivation behind getting those vehicles?
Well, we're supporting the industry, and we're also looking to save cost.
How's the upkeep on those? Are they any different from what you have here? I know it's a different power source, so I'm just wondering if it's the same type of...
it's been good technology. It's worked out really well for us. So we haven't seen any difference based on the two different fuels.
Are you guys thinking you're going to expand that more?
Yeah, as we continue to grow and we need more pickup trucks and things of that nature, we will look toward that fuel.
Now, I know you have a few of those vehicles here in this facility. Do you have them at any other parts? Because I know that we had talked about before all the other locations that you guys have.
Yeah, as of right now, our other satellites do not have them. It's all coming out of this facility here.
That's great. Well, speaking of trucks, I know you guys have quite an unusual truck up there. I heard it's been called Bumblebee, even a transformer. So would you mind taking us up there, take a look at it?
Absolutely.
Let's go up there and take a look, and we'll wrap up our show up there.
Sounds good.
All right. And just like magic, we've appeared here in front of the big truck. As Dawn said, she nicknamed it Bumblebee. I can clearly see why now with Bumblebee on the side of it. So you got to tell me more about this truck and this vehicle, because there's a lot more here than just meets the eye.
Yeah, it's new to our fleet. It's a custom vehicle that we just got a few weeks ago. It's a rotator. It's a 75-ton rotator tow truck that we use for accidents on the highway.
This is like picking trucks up out of a
tractor trailer that rolls over a hillside and needs to get picked up. This unit will get dispatched out to the scene, and the whole boom rotates, hence the name rotator, and it has 75 tons worth of lifting capabilities, and it'll pick a vehicle up, a tractor trailer, 80,000 pounds up, and set it back on its wheels, and we can get the road back open.
The rotating part of it actually is what makes it unique as compared to a regular tow truck or a truck that's just trying to pull something.
Correct.
So when that thing moves, you guys can leave it in one direction. You don't have to worry about blocking off traffic or anything like that.
Yeah, that's the beauty of a rotator tow truck, because traffic can still flow around you. and you could parallel the scene and still do your work.
Well, what does a truck like this run cost-wise? Because I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm like, wow, all the tires that are on there, even just the artwork and stuff that's on the side of it and the lift. What's a truck like this cost?
Yeah, this unit was close to $800,000, and we had fun with the marketing side of it and the lettering and the decals and all that to make it fun. And
I can see that with like I said, Bumblebee's there with a red bandana on it. And for those of you not home, maybe not too familiar with the Transformers, I'm looking for the Decepticons to come out of the garage next and really show us a few things now. Like I said, this truck is just truly amazing to see it in person. Seeing it in pictures before here is just something that, you know, you can't really even realize exactly what it is. But you guys get to take this out often?
like I said, we just got it a few weeks ago, and it hasn't been out that much. There's at night it lights up the whole sky. I don't know how many lights are on this truck, but it's really it's intense at night. So
I can imagine.
the guys are in the process right now of setting it up, and we'll get the boom up in the air, and we could show the folks back home some shots of that also.
Well, that would be fantastic. Daryl, thank you for showing us around in your facility here. I mean, the truck itself is impressive. The facilities are very impressive. I appreciate you taking the time out to show me and the people of the rest of the 46th District exactly what you guys do and all the great things that you're doing here, and hope that you guys continue it and have lots of future successes.
Thank you. It's great to have you guys here, and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's all the time that we have for today. I want to thank you for watching the latest edition of Legislative Report and our latest business spotlight here in the 46th District. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact my district office. The information will be displayed on the screen. Thanks again for watching.